Hi, welcome to my quilting beehive. Today I am here to show you how to make snowball corner units that we're using in the 2024 Colchester Mill Marvelous Mystery quilt. If you're not participating in the quilt, you are more than welcome to join us. We are about halfway through, but you can get the previous month's patterns and catch right up in no time. So today, snowball corners. In this month's pattern, you need to make a snowball block unit where it's a pointy unit, a long rectangle with a triangle at the top. And they're in two different directions. You need to make lefts and rights. There are a couple ways you can do this. One way to do this is to take your squares and draw a line down the center on the diagonal from point to point. And I'm using the Soline mechanical pencil because it has a nice fine edge. Comes in lots of different colors, which I like, so you can see the line. So you can draw and mark the line, and then you can place that for this side, the left side one, you're going to place it in that direction. And if you wanted to make a right side one, you would turn it so it's going in the opposite direction. So you can make it by drawing the line, and then we would sew right on that line and cut away the extra, and it would make your block that will look like that. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is by using the Creative Grids folded corner clipper. This is a handy little tool, and there's actually lots of different things you can do it, and one of them is a snowball unit where you can make a folded corner. So on this one, if you want to do that, I need my line to go in that direction, so I'm going to turn it so it's facing the same direction as what I want, and I'd place it on here. This happens to be a 2.5-inch square, so I have my 2.5-inch line right there. Sorry, I'm backwards. Flip it the other way. So it's going that way. That's important. Make sure when you're cutting off the small piece. If I had turned it around this way, the line's in the right direction. If I cut this, though, I'd be cutting off my good piece. So that's why you want to make sure you turn it around so you have a triangle showing outside of the ruler. So my 2.5-inch line goes up the side, and there's a little line that shows where the corner is. And I can just take my rotary cutter, chop off the extra piece, and it's ready to sew with a 1/4-inch seam from point to point. To do your right side unit with the folded corner clipper, you're going to place your square on top of that one, and you want your ruler to end up in that direction. So this one, you can line up your ruler straight along the bottom, and you still have a triangle to cut off. So the left side, you had to rotate it, and the right side, it's going to be straight in the same direction as your rectangle, and you'll just trim off that little bit, and that will be your right side. If you do the one where you mark lines, you are going to sew just touching the line towards the triangle side, towards the outside, so you're just leaving enough give to the line so you're not taking away the crease fold thickness. So when you fold it, you don't want it to be a little bit short. So you want to sew just touching the line to the side of it. So I'm going to do that. Some fancy machines might have a laser light, so you wouldn't have to draw your line. You could use that laser beam to mark where it's going to go. Sometimes I have a piece of tape under here, and I can line up the bottom corner on there so I know that it's going to be right in the right place and keep it straight. And I don't know if you can see close enough on the camera, but I can just see my line. My needle's going to come down right next to my line, and my line is just touching the left side of my foot right there. And there we go. And I'm just watching that line, so I'm staying right as close to it without actually being on top of it as I can be. And there you go. You can see I sewed right down there. If you do it where you're using the folded corner clipper, you're sewing right down this 1/4-inch seam. So I'm using the edge of my 1/4-inch presser foot, and it's going to line up right along there. And just like that, when the corner on that piece of tape I have lined up, it lines up right there. So All right, let's take these over to the ironing board and see how they look. The one where you use the folded corner clipper is all ready to press, and when you press it, set your stitches, and you want to press it by going away from the big rectangle and giving it a press like that, so that the iron is opening up that fold, and you'll see it makes it a perfect rectangle. Everything lines right up, and that one is done. If you mark your lines, you're going to need to cut off your seam, your extra, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to put it up here on the mat, and I'm going to leave. Remember, you're always cutting the triangle side. If you're cutting this way, you're going to be cutting off that rectangle piece. You don't want to do that. So always make sure you're cutting off your triangle side, and you line that right up. 1/4 inch, leave a 1/4 inch. You don't want to cut on your sewn line. Cut away the triangle, and then you're ready to press it. And set your seam, set your stitches, not your seam, and then press it open and hold to give it a nice bit of heat, and then you'll find you have it just like that. So you're going to take the rest of your pieces, make all of your units so you have your left and your rights ready for this month. They're going to go together with the other units we made this month, some flying geese and some pointy force patches. Put all these pieces together in one bag and save them, because you're going to put these together in August to put together the next bigger piece of our quilt. Thank you for participating in the Marvelous Mystery, and I look forward to seeing how your work comes out. Post pictures on our Facebook group. Thanks.